have a confession to make. I have a lot of yarn, and I have a sneaking suspicion that many of you do as well. So today I'm going to do something revolutionary, and I'm going to find patterns and projects for the yarn I already have. And I created a little worksheet, a little planner to be able to keep track of all of the ideas that I find. And if you would like to get your very own copy, all you need to do is click the link in the description box below, and it's free. It's totally free. All you'll need to do is give me your email address and I'll send it over to you. And I have one that's a little bit frilly and has like little cute yarn graphics on it, and then I have a plain one because I know some of you don't want all the cutesy stuff on it. In addition to the worksheet, I always forget to share with you guys that I have an incredible resource for you, and that is my website. You're going to find hundreds of blog posts, printables, free patterns. It's all there, and I'm leaving a link for it in the description box below. Plus, I have a newsletter. I don't know how it happened, but my stash is multiplying, and if I don't start using up some of this yarn, I am literally going to run out of room in my craft room. I keep looking over to the side as I am seeing all of this yarn, and I don't know where it's come from. What I typically do is find a project and then buy the yarn for it. But my parents used to say when I was little that my eyes were bigger than my stomach, and I think that that applies to my yarn stash situation, is that my eyes are bigger than my hands. I physically cannot crochet and knit all of the projects that I have purchased yarn for, so I need to do something about it. So I've gone through my stash and I have found 10 yarns that I would really like to work down and use up, and I'm going to use my little worksheet to keep track of everything so I don't forget it. The first yarn that I want to work down in my stash is Nitpix Palette. This is an absolutely gorgeous yarn, and I have 14 little skeins of it in my stash. It's a 100% Peruvian Highland wool, and it's a #1 fingering weight yarn. It comes in so many gorgeous colors, and when I mean so many, there are 156 colors to choose from. I originally bought this yarn to make amigurumi with, and you may be thinking, are you crazy? Why would you use that to make amigurumi? But hear me out. One of my favorite knitted toy makers and designers is Susie Marie Knits, and if you have ever seen her gorgeous little mice, oh my goodness, she is absolutely incredible. I love everything that she makes, and she uses this yarn to knit her little toys with, and I thought, wow, maybe I could do that with crochet. But I quickly found that it was way too thin for me to crochet toys with, but I have found something that I'm excited to make. The pattern I found is the Pretty in Pink triangle shawl from Brianna K Designs. I absolutely love this one, and it's a free pattern, and you'll also find a video tutorial for it on YouTube. She's using 4 different colors, and she also gives information about how many balls of yarn for each color you're going to need. Although I have 14 different colors of this yarn, I don't have more than 1 skein per color. So mine's going to end up turning out a little bit different, but I still think that it's going to be gorgeous because all of the colors that I do have look really beautiful together. Another thing I really like about this pattern is that it is beginner friendly, and although I am not a beginner crocheter, I do enjoy working on beginner patterns because sometimes my brain needs a break. When I first started crocheting, I wanted to learn all of the fundamentals. I didn't want to just learn how to make one project. I wanted to be able to crochet anything I could dream of. That's why I joined Crafty, which is an online community of creative, like-minded makers, where members can find endless inspiration, advance their existing skills, and find their new favorite hobby. Crafty has over 2,000 creative classes for makers at every skill level, with step-by-step instructions in 20 different categories like crochet, knitting, quilting, sewing, and painting, just to name a few. I've taken several crochet classes with Crafty, but this is one of my favorites. It's the Startup Library Crochet by Selena Baca. This is the perfect class to learn the basics of crochet, and it starts off with learning about tools and materials. Then there is an in-depth lesson on yarns where you're going to learn about weights and fibers and tips for choosing the best beginner-friendly yarns. That one is so important. You'll also learn the 5 foundational stitches for crochet, plus learn how to read patterns and charts. Finally, you're going to put all of that information together and make 4 gorgeous projects. And what's even better is that the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click my link in the video description will get 3 months of premium Crafty membership for only $1.49. Thank you so much to Crafty for sponsoring today's video. I recently went to the H&H Americas conference in Chicago, and this is where all of the big and many of the small yarn companies come to show their new products and to meet with yarn shop owners and creators like me, and they were giving away a lot of yarn, and I couldn't say no. I said yes to so much free yarn that I ended up having to pay a $100 overweight fee on my suitcase. This bag on the way there wasn't overweight. It was because of all this yarn that these companies were giving away, and I don't regret it for one bit. I am so happy I brought home all of this new yarn. In the moment I saw this Bernat lattice yarn, I knew I had to have it. I ended up only taking 3 skeins, and I really wanted to take a lot more, but I thought that was being a little bit greedy. I got the cherry colorway, bark, and charcoal. This is a nice hefty skein, and it is a number 4 worsted weight yarn. I absolutely love the speckled look of this yarn, and the website says that it has great stitch definition, which is a major plus in my book for a yarn. And after doing a little hunting around, I found the Color-Blocked-Crochet-Blanket on the Yarnspirations website, and I absolutely fell in love with it. But there is one issue, and that's that the pattern calls for 4 skeins, and I only have 3. I knew I should have picked up 1 more. So I think I can justify just buying 1, just 1. I only need 1. Just give me the permission, just say it's okay. And I think I would go with the cream color because I think that would look good with the colors that I already have. Another yarn that I collected at H&H Americas is the Premier Yarns Cotton Fair. Now, this is a yarn that I have a good amount in my stash already, but I ended up collecting another 6 skeins. I couldn't help myself. This is one of my favorite yarns, and I have been hoping for quite some time now that Premier was going to come out with additional colors, and they are. So I picked up 3 skeins of the goldenrod and 3 skeins of this gorgeous taupe color. How beautiful are these colors? I love them so much. And I heard that they are coming out with more colors. So I am really excited about this. This is a number 2 fine weight yarn, and currently it comes in 22 different colors. It's 52% cotton and 48% acrylic, and it feels like butter. It is such a soft, squishy, gorgeous yarn. I found the Lavender Fields tank on the Premier Yarns website, and I immediately knew that this is what I would make this yarn with. This would be perfect for the warmer summer months, or you could even wear it when it gets a little bit chilly with a cardigan or a jacket layered on top. The next yarn is another Premier Yarns yarn, and that's the Minikins. I've already made a cute little granny table runner with this yarn, but I was curious what else I could make with it. The Minikins comes in 42 different colors, and it is incredibly soft. It's a number 2 fine weight yarn, and it's 50% acrylic and 50% cotton. It really is an ideal yarn for amigurumi, and on the website it recommends a 2.25 millimeter crochet hook to work with it. I found the Minikin Mermaid pattern on the Premier Yarns website, and I knew this is it. I don't need to look any further. This is the project that I want to make. And what I love about it is that I have a lot of the colors of this Minikins yarn, and you can make the little mermaids with different skin colors, with different hair colors, with different tail colors. You can mix and match it all, and they're just so cute. The next yarn in my stash that I would like to bust is the Barocco Vintage Baby. I don't have a lot of this in my stash, but I have 6 of the most gorgeous colors of this yarn, and I have been itching to make something with it. It's a number 3 DK weight yarn, and it comes in 29 different colors. And because of the colors that I had, I knew that I wanted to do something like a sweet little baby blanket, and I found the Barocco Baby Eden blanket on their website, and it is just so sweet. The pattern calls for 5 skeins, and they're using 3 different colors. Now, of course, again, each one of my colors, I only have one skein of each. So my blanket would turn out a little bit different, but I still think that it would look beautiful in these colors. Now, speaking of Barocco, I have a booty ton of Barocco vintage in my stash. I'm looking over there at it. I don't even know how many hanks of it I have in my collection. I've made a bunch of different amigurumi toys with this yarn, but I wanted something a little bit different. And when I tell you that this is one of the nicest yarns to work with, I'm not exaggerating. This is one of my favorite yarns, and it comes in 80 colors. One of my favorite places to look for projects for a specific yarn is Ravelry, and when you put it up into the little search bar, you're going to find a ton of different projects for the Barocco vintage. But one of my favorites is the vintage Vineyard blanket. This one is gorgeous. This is by Susan Carlton from thefeltedbutton.com. This pattern calls for 14 hanks in 7 different colors, and that's not going to be a problem for this guy. I got plenty of it. This one is a paid pattern, but when I went to her Etsy shop, I was blown away by how many gorgeous designs that she has. They are all so beautiful. The way she uses colors is just phenomenal. I love everything she has. I have been so excited to tell you about this, but last week at H&H, I keep talking about it, but I ended up meeting my idol, Tony Lipsy of TL Yarn Crafts. I met her in person. We hung out, okay? We had lunch together. There were other people there. It wasn't just her and I. I cannot tell you what a dream come true that was for me, and let me just say that she is as nice of a person as she seems in her videos. She couldn't walk 5 steps without somebody coming up and saying, "Can I have a picture with you? Can I talk to you?" And she was so gracious and generous with her time. She is pure gold. I just loved getting to meet her. And yes, she's very tall and I'm very short. So these pictures of us together, I just love them. But I don't know if you know this, but Tony has her very own yarn line, which is Happy Place by Hobie. This is one of my favorite yarns of all time. And I'm not just saying that because I think Tony is amazing. This yarn is mwah, chef's kiss. She ended up gifting a lot of this yarn to me when her line came out last year, and I made a rectangle granny square blanket with it. Well, not a rectangle granny square, a rectangle granny blanket with it, and I am currently making another one because I have that much yarn. But I'm still going to have yarn left over, and I want to use every little bit of this up because it is so nice to work with. So the Happy Place yarn is 50% wool and 50% cotton. I love that combination. And currently it comes in 20 melange colors, which is when the yarn color, the primary color, is mixed with white and it gives it that heathered tone. It is gorgeous. And it also comes in 19 solid colors. And you know Tony. Tony is the queen of putting all of these colors together, and these colors really are perfection. It's a number 3 DK or a light worsted weight yarn. And on the Hobie website, I found her design for this yarn, and it's the open book wrap. I'm done. I'm gonna make that. It is absolutely stunning. It is so gorgeous. I'm gonna make it. The next yarn that I have in my stash that I would like to bust a little and work it down is a yarn that I have no idea how I got. I don't remember purchasing it. I don't remember what I was going to make with it, but it is the Cascade Yarns 220 Superwash. This is a 100% superwash wool, and it comes in 139 colors. This is a workhorse of a yarn, and there are so many different things you can make with it. And when you go to Ravelry and type in this yarn, you are going to find a ton of different projects. But one of my favorites, and this one's gonna blow your mind, okay? This is the Thea Bag by Sarah Korth from SEK Handmade. I am obsessed. These colors are everything. This is something that is so incredible about Sarah, is that she knows how to put colors together. That is a skill that I am definitely working on, but she has a flair for it. And I got to meet Sarah in person a few weeks ago out in Colorado at the Crochet Business Summit. I did a whole video about it. Sarah has such a fun personality and we just clicked. I just enjoyed spending time with her. But to be honest, I didn't know how incredible her designs were. I didn't know until I found this by chance on Ravelry, and I thought, holy moly, this is so gorgeous. And then I did a deep dive and looked through all of her different patterns, and I was like, wow, this lady's got some skills. I'll leave a link to the Thea Bag pattern in the description box below, but I'm gonna leave a link for her whole shop because you're gonna wanna check out all of her patterns. This next yarn that I would like to use that I have in my stash has a story. Once upon a time, I bought some fancy schmancy yarn from a shop in Black Mountain, North Carolina. Now at the time, I knew exactly what I was going to make with this yarn. But guess who didn't write it down anywhere? This guy. This is one of the most expensive yarns that I have purchased in my entire life. I have never spent this much money on yarn before. So drum roll, please. I don't do a very good drum roll. I have 3 hanks of spin cycle yarns dyed in the wool. I can see how much I paid right here. These were $32.95 each. Now I will say, this is one of the most stunning yarns I have ever seen in my life. In these colors, they are gorgeous. Spin cycle dye in the wool is a 100% American wool yarn. And what makes this yarn truly special is that it is dyed before it is spun. So it really creates this totally unique colorway. They're absolutely stunning. And while you can find a plethora of knitting projects, it is actually very hard to find crochet projects using this yarn. But I got lucky and I found one on Ravelry that took my breath away. This is the Comfy Keyhole Scarf. Wow! And it is using a crochet technique that creates this 3-dimensional effect, and I want to learn how to do that. It looks so stunning. Last year, I purchased a yarn that I was sure I was going to love for amigurumi, but I didn't. And that's the Paintbox Simply DK. I have loved other Paintbox yarns for amigurumi like the Paintbox Wool Mix Aran and the Paintbox Cotton DK. But this one really fell flat for me when it came to crocheting toys. But I recognize that this would be a great yarn for other projects. It's a 100% acrylic yarn that comes in 63 different colors. And this project is a total showstopper. And if you like granny squares and you like stripes, you're gonna love this one. This is the Granny Squares and Stripes cardigan by Beth Povey of Realm Designs. I love this one so much. And while the listing on Ravelry doesn't show a lot about how much yarn you will need for this project, I've got a good amount of it in my stash over here, so I think I will have enough. And what I love about this pattern is that it has 4 3/4 stars. That's really high, especially for the fact that it has 668 votes. That means this is a great project. I want to start this one today, like right now. I just want to abandon everything else I'm working on and just start it. I hope this has gotten your wheels turning and that you're excited to dive into your own stash and find projects. And don't forget to download your free Yarn Stash Buster worksheet. I'll leave a link for it in the description box below. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Stay safe and happy stitching.